Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Worldwide Folklore Tales live stream. A little impromptu today. Um, hopefully, we are broadcasting. Do say live. So just waiting for the other cameras to come on. But thank you for stopping by if you are today. And you should just be able to. Hello everybody. Good to see you all. Just an impromptu live session from the back porch today. Hopefully, a few people will stop by. Beautiful day here, as you can see behind me. So just a bit of a live stream for an hour or so, just to be an impromptu, just a chat, nothing in particular. But hoping that everybody's had a good Memorial Day. It's been Memorial Day weekend for us over in the United States, so been a very good long weekend. I know certainly in the UK it was a bank holiday Monday, so another holiday weekend for you all, and extremely high temperatures too for so early in May. Mm. Yeah, we've again over in the United States, it's been incredibly warm. For mid to late May. We I think this time last year we were looking at weirdly odd temperatures. And not until June. So, welcoming everybody. Just an impromptu chat this afternoon, early afternoon here in Maine. Hope everybody's having a good time. Back to the working week, I guess, for some of us, huh? Uh, yeah, that's kind of hard work after a long weekend. Yeah. So let's see. We got in Eleanor. Hi, Eleanor. Welcome in. Sure, you're probably on a lunch break. Yeah, I did send an invite out on Discord, but this is just an impromptu live session. So if you can hear me and see me okay, hello. Sitting on the back porch today, just enjoying the weather and a long weekend for me personally because I have the week off. So how's it going? Hopefully everybody's I've got a couple of people in and Eleanor, so maybe we'll have a few of the friends when they realise that we're live will stop by. Obviously most people are probably working right now, so I'm assuming you are as well, Eleanor. Yeah. Amy lower. Okay, sure. I thought it was all right with just my head at the bottom, but I can do that. Let me see. Point it lower, she says. How's that? That any better? You see me okay? Still in the bottom corner, huh? Center it. Oh, God, you don't want much, do you? I wanted it that reason for a way, for a purpose. Anyway, that'll do. Yeah. So, again, how's it going? Yeah, in the background, that's one of my all of my wonderful cherry trees and apple blossom trees are. Thank you for that. Hello, everybody. Happy. What is it? The 26th of May already, man. Wow. So, if any of you are in the UK, which is where I'm from originally, if you don't know, I hope that you're having a nice hot late May because 35 degrees Celsius, that is incredible for you in Fahrenheit lands, which is where I am. That's nearly, it's at least 100 degrees Fahrenheit, by the way. So that sort of temperature, we know how that is in the United States. That's regular for us in the summer in some places, most places. But for the UK, yeah, for me, that is incredible, incredible. And they've already had teenage deaths. This is something that I used to try and warn people about. Jumping into freezing cold water when your body temperature is plus 90 degrees Fahrenheit is really silly. And if you're young, it affects young people especially. You're really hot and you're sweaty. And so you see some water and you decide to jump in and you instantly you're going to shock because of the temperature change and you're paralyzed and you drown. So that's apparently what's been happening over in the UK because kids are jumping in cold water, not forgetting the water's that cold. It's a lot. the difference between the temperature changes, so you have to be seriously careful about that. But hopefully people will sort of get wised up to that a little bit. It's not fun to lose somebody or something so avoidable and tragic as that. But okay. I'm trying to, yeah, 63 degrees, Eleanor says, and it's storming right there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, again, Texas, Eleanor's in Texas. I'm in Maine on the coast, so midway up the coast of Maine here. And we had torrential rain overnight. And then today, it's about 76 Fahrenheit, so it's nice spring weather. All of the trees are out in full bloom at last, and I need to mow my backyard. Yeah. Um, but let us know in the text chat where you are, how you're all doing. And like I said, just hanging out on the porch today. We maybe talk a little bit about what we have coming up in the future soon for the channel series, which we've been working on now for the last few months. So we haven't been really putting much in stuff out there. Just a couple of shorts, teasers, if you like, and the latest one, which is the new studio layout. So that's the beginning of the episode. If you've seen the short in the studio, which we put out yesterday, then that's really kind of the format now. That's for our episodes, which Island of the Dolls is the next one. And we have a series of stories coming up, which is a lot more immersive. Uh, so should be good fun, should be good to watch. Little documentary style vibe to it, a bit more professional for sure. Apart from my face, which is never going to be that professional, but and um, and then outside we're going to be doing the live campfires. So there'll be campfires maybe live, and they'll be pre-recorded with guests. And most likely that's going to be in the fire pit behind me because we can easily serve food, light it, very nice lighting and good camera angles. Then we have another fire pit out just in the big lawn behind that fence there. And then the other fire pit is up in the woods, way up there behind us. So we have an options, plenty of those um, when we need them. And mostly those fire pits really and those stories are for when we have guests who are going to be seated around. So it should be good. We're looking forward to this year and doing a lot of things that we wanted to do last year that we just didn't get the time. So enough about me. How's everyone's day? Say hi in the text. Keep it G-rated, please. And hopefully we'll see one or two people jumping in. Uh, I'm aware of the lag as well, so um, I do have another device where I'm sort of watching that. Yeah. See people stopping by, checking out the live stream today. Drink a soda. Mmm, Canada Dry ginger ale. So what's happening where you are, Eleanor? Are you out at work right now on a break, or what's going on there? Yeah, occasionally we're surrounded by magnolia trees here, so the bees love those. Get a lot of bees. Thanks, Eleanor. Thanks for that. Yeah. Well, so the storylines. Well, I mean, Eleanor's more familiar with Island of the Dolls, which is a great story. It's been covered lots of times by people in the past, obviously, notably like Josh Gates and Expedition X and Expedition Unknown. Uh, there's been other programs dating back over the years, so it's a well covered topic. And on this one, we were more interested in not just telling the story like everybody else has done, but there's actually a story behind the story that a lot of people don't actually pay attention to. You may know, for example, the person who started it all off, who he was, maybe a little bit, but you don't know everything about him. And really, the story is going to be around that. It's not necessarily going to be focused on the Doll Island itself, although it does feature. But the main intent really is to try and talk about the story behind the story and maybe introduce some explanations as to what may happen at the island of the dolls. Um, that would be a cool thing. Yeah, I mean that's when we were doing the research on it and we started, I wanted really to focus on what most people don't really get to know or they don't have an opportunity because it's such a spooky place. And I mean, if you're into the paranormal, you definitely would like to go visit it for yourself. I mean, obviously, Mexico isn't necessarily a safe place to visit just whenever you like. And so it's not always a thing that you can do. But we hope to be able to give that an immersive feel to it and also kind of explain, the guy where it all started, really, and his story. And where does he come from? What's his background? Find out as much as we can about that guy. So I'm giving too much away by saying that right here, but just wanted to let you guys know what we have planned. After that, we have the next episode in the series, the 6 episodes so far. We're aiming to do 8. Uh, well, we have 4 made, which Island of the Dolls was the first, and then we have a couple of others that were. One is an Irish folklore story, but actually it's Irish folklore, Celtic folklore. But when we looked further into it, there's a lot of other very close legends or folklore myths that are close to that from different countries like England, Scotland, Ireland, we've said, and even in Europe. So you'd think shapeshifter if you talk about American Indians, for example, and the shapeshifter like Skinwalker Ranch. Well, the puka is probably a shapeshifter, and so the similarities are really well, they're absolutely the same. It's just interesting how different cultures from around the world have these kind of mythological or folklore spooky things, and then you find that across the world, right? People of different cultures, people who never had contact, had very similar stories. Skinwalker, Puka, whichever. So with their folklore tales, general, we're trying to sort of bring a connection between those, and it's like saying, hey, say like with fairies, when people talk about dark fairies and people disappearing, is there an alien connection there? Is because some people would just say, I don't believe in fairies, but I do believe in aliens. And yeah, and it's for me, it's the same way as somebody says, I believe in God. You can't prove that God exists, but you absolutely categorically believe that God exists, and you cannot cross that in any way. So like blasphemy or anything. And yet, if you start talking to them about aliens, and they'll say and laugh at it. And yeah, realistically, to me, it seems more plausible that aliens in spaceships or whatever you want to call them are more realistic and logical than a fairy godfather or somebody who's just going to answer your prayers all day long. So that's me. Personally, I find it easier to believe in the existence of aliens than in a deity. But I'm not dissing that faith in religion. I'm just saying that being somebody who's open to all things, faith, religion, trying to understand why and what people see in belief, um, and how do they live their lives accordingly. It's important. Do your beliefs influence the way you live your life? And if so, what kind of a person does it make you? Does it make you a better person? Or in some cases, does it actually make people worse? Hmm, interesting. I think we all know the answer to that, but yeah. Thank you for stopping by, guys. Good to see you all. Hope you're having a good day. Um, one of the live shows that we're going to do is a Q&A. So we probably talk about our beliefs, myths, legends, stories that we know from being children, and just discuss them openly and have fun just talking about stories, folklore, myths, legends, all of these things that people say, oh, I heard this story when I was a child, and have a good chat about that around the campfire. So hit that like button, please. Check out the channel if you're interested in paranormal, if you're interested in live streaming, or if you're mostly just interested in some storytelling, and check out the new direction of the channel, which is a lot of work and effort going into it. So it'd be nice to for people to enjoy that, you know. But there are a lot of storytelling channels out there, aren't there? So um, lots of them. But we hope that you enjoy the new look, and when you see more of that new look, hopefully that you'll see things in there. The bookshelf in particular has objects on it which are relevant to a story. So from time to time, it might be a little bit of a who can tell where the object is that's relevant hidden away in the background, and then there's going to be the free memberships because the channel is able to have memberships right now. In fact, we've been able to have memberships for some time, but we've just been very reluctant to start that process up at the moment. Um, Primarily because we want to offer people something at a reasonable rate and without being silly. So merchandise is we've been working on merch for a long time, and we have some really nice looking merch. But again, we're not really interested, honestly, in this channel being a money making channel. It's more about entertainment and sharing stories and coming with a medium, you know, and a format and a presentation which is new or different, at least for YouTube. But the membership and join button for us hasn't been a big thing. And if we do and when we do include it, you know, it's going to be for people who really just, you know, want that membership and they want the perks that go with it, sure. But mostly it's just there because we're a growing channel still. You know, we're only just over a year old, less than that actually, and it's taking our time to find ourselves in terms of the format, how we want to deliver it, and whether it would be a faceless channel and just a voice, or whether it would be both. And we've gone for both right now, putting a face to the voice. But there's more than one person behind this channel, obviously. Not just me; it's my wife as well, who does all the production. So if you like the production, it's my wife, Pamster, who should be thanked for her work. She does a lot of work after I've done my bit. I've sourced the ideas, I've done the narration, I've done this, I've done that. But when it comes down to sitting down in front of the PC and finding all of the assets that you need, the music, the sound effects, editing, the quality of those images, also it costs money, obviously, to buy sources for copyright purposes, some of them. So you end up having to use different sources for that, and it can cost you money. So, you know, we're not monetized, we don't earn from that. And so far, we've resisted that, let's just say. So if you guys do see a join button at some point in the future, um, it will be probably for as gifts memberships for some of our long-term and supportive members, friends. And that way, then we can give them something a little extra and thank you, you know, for being with us for so long and being supportive in the community, which is huge, you know, for anybody who wants to use YouTube as a channel creator. So that's enough about that. Just wanted to share that. I'm probably just going to be hanging out for a little bit, and if anybody wants to jump in the live chat and say hello, please do. From time to time, I'll be off camera, but I'll leave the camera on, and might even just move the camera angle a little bit just to show the wonderful backyard and woods that we have. We're lucky to have. But behind me is one of my ornamental cherry trees that are blooming. Over to the other side is my beautiful white blooming apple tree, which we're about to take some photos under from me and my wife. There she is. You can't really see too good there, but just there, beautiful with a chair underneath. So we're gonna have some nice pictures for that soon. And really can't show much from this angle because I'm under the tent, you know, side of the house. Bit more of the woods. And as Eleanor wanted me to centre on me, so sorry about that, guys. If you prefer to see nature rather than my ugly face, blame Eleanor Sowers. She's the moderator today. Okay, I'll be right back. I just have to run inside for something and get a fresh ginger ale here, but I'll be right back. Fusion Rocket. Hi, mate. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I was hoping you might be around, Nicky New. Yeah, good to see you, babe. Well, I can't see you, obviously, but I know you're there. I know who you are. So, hello, everybody. Fusion Rocket, a good friend of ours she's actually a British lady. If you don't know her, check out her channel. And she actually lives on Gran Canaria. Very lucky. I used to holiday there quite a bit when I was a child, when I lived in England. My parents used to take us to all of the Balearic, the islands there, like Tenerife and other places, and Gran Canaria was always one of my favourites. I didn't like Tenerife much. Tenerife's more volcanic ash, I think, than anywhere else. But Gran Canaria was nice. Yeah. But yeah, Fusion. Oh, there's Token. Cool. I have to put my glasses on. Give me a sec, because I can't read without them. Yeah, Token Pirate. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you were on Gran Canaria, though. Anyway, yeah, yeah. Oh, the Palmer. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, my apologies. I don't know. So sometimes my geography isn't quite true. Mind you, I've lived in the US for 20 years, so I've kind of pretty much forgotten where Europe is these days. You know what I mean? Yeah. Talking Pyre, man, I haven't seen you for a while. How you doing, man? How's the weather treating you over there? 35 degrees, is it? Celsius? That's balmy. Like balmy as in nut. I mean, that's the sort of temperature we get here in August. Having said that, we had 90 Fahrenheit the other day. So what's that? That's 30 Celsius, right? Mm, yeah. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, well, I'm not necessarily ignorant, Nikki. It's just that I wasn't really sure exactly where you were. So yeah, yeah. And people booking flights thinking they're that's funny. No, that is funny. Seriously, it's crazy. People book flights thinking that, oh, well, that's cool. Yeah. Well, hey, that reminds me actually of a friend of mine in the UK once. Hot but not unbearable. Well, that's nice. That's nice. A bit like here then, really. Hot but not unbearable. Right now we're looking at 76 Fahrenheit, so that's that, about 25 Celsius, something like that, I believe. So it's just perfect, right? 25 C, beautiful. It's what you want. It's anywhere between 24 and 26, 7 for me, Fahrenheit, Celsius, I'm good. If it starts hitting 30 Celsius, man, no, I don't like it. And then you get the humidity too. So yeah, right. So I have a story about a friend of mine in England when I was living there, and she was talking to a guy in the US for quite a while. He was from Alabama or somewhere. And anyway, short story. He invited himself over. He bought a ticket to the UK, flew over there without permission, arrived, and then one day she's there and a knock at the door, and she opens the door. It's this guy from Alabama just turned up without invite. So one of her friends, he was a very creepy guy apparently. She called me saying he's just sitting in the living room staring at me. I said, "Well, call the cops." you know. Anyway, what happened was the immigration service got a hold of it and said, "Yeah, you didn't have permission to come. Plus, you lied to us. You said that you had an invite, and so we let you in." So the police came to her house, arrested him, and instantly deported him back to the United States. And they said, "You'll never be able to enter the UK ever again for that." Yeah, it's you just don't do that. But there are, you have to, again, cautionary tale. Be careful. Don't. I said that to Kareem, my friend. I said that was a silly thing. You told him where you lived. You just don't know who you're dealing with sometimes. And he took it on himself. He was a lonely guy, lived with his mom in the middle of the backwoods somewhere in Alabama. Got the money together, bought an airline ticket, and just decided he was going. Yeah, exactly. Don't dox yourself. Hmm. So. It happens, but that's a harsh. Thankfully, it doesn't happen very often, right? But if you find yourself out there like she did, and she let him in the house, and I was like, you should never have done that. Unfortunately enough, I was 30 miles away, and at the time I didn't have a vehicle to get to her. Otherwise, I would have done. But people she knew did contact the INS, the Immigration Nationalizer, or the Immigration Service, and they looked him up on the records and said, yeah, he gave this address, he gave her name, said that you had permission. He didn't. So because he lied to the Immigration Service, they just deported him. So that's what happened. Anywho, what's with that? How is Gran Canaria? Oh, right, La Palma. Uh, And where is Token Raccoon at then? Which part of the UK? And which part of the UK are you from then, Nikki? You must be. You're definitely a Londoner, aren't you? I think, or somewhere from that area. Yeah, Nikki knew. Guys, Nikki knew his fusion rocket. Fusion rocket says sounds like the start of those internet gone wrong stories. Essex, that's what I was going to say. I was either going to say Essex or Surrey, but yeah, Essex go. Yeah, nice. Mm. I've only ever been to Essex once when I lived in the UK. Yeah, I think it was a school trip actually. Nice place. My favourite parts of the UK are Cornwall and Devon and Yorkshire. Yeah. Well, some parts of Yorkshire, not the towns or the cities, but yeah, totally. Essex is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, if you think about it, really, what do they say? Which is the other county that they call the Garden of England? Is it Surrey? Ah, I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, they're close, so I mean, might as well be the same. Oh, Yorkshire and the Yorkshire Dales is a fantastic place. Fantastic. Yeah, Cornwall is so beautiful. Man, I love Cornwall. If I ever lived in the UK again, I said to my wife, if we do ever emigrate back to the UK, that's where I'd be looking to buy a place. Cornwall for sure. Yeah, like a little stone cottage, somewhere just outside a little village. I know those country roads so well. Used to drive Land Rovers around them a lot. Yeah, some good times. Good times. Tintagel, St Ives, even down to the Lizard Point, which is for you guys, if you know the shape of the UK, has that peninsula that juts out right at the very end. It's called Land's End, and that is the Lizard Point. Basically, it's called Lizard Point, and you know that's where you can get some awesome surfing if you are into surfing. It's where you go in the UK if you want to go surfing. Cornwall, Devon, the coastline down there. It's you know good rip curls going on. Oh, really? Wow. Bought a house on Lizard Point. Man, lucky. Yeah, I was last at Lizard Point for the festival during the eclipse when the UK had that eclipse. When was that? Early 2000s, right? Can't remember which year it was, but we were down on Lizard Point for that for a festival, and that was amazing. Well, we didn't see the eclipse. Ah. Yeah, the eclipse was supposed to be on the 11th at 11 minutes past 11, all the 11s. And the days before we got there, it was beautiful like this. And then at 11, and on the morning of the eclipse, it clouded over. So we could only just sort of see it, you know. But it's amazing how animals behave. Cows, everything goes quiet. And cows go into the middle of the field together. It just goes dead silent. Yeah, it was okay. We had a good time. It was a good place to be. A big festival, Lizard Point. A lot of bands didn't turn up because the promoters ran off with the takings. So there were bands like Levelers, Prodigy, David Bowie. God, there was loads, and some really good all night rave tents, dance tents, big places that were just going all night. And yeah, a lot of bands didn't play because the promoters took off with the proceeds. and just left halfway through the festival, halfway through it. So only some bands actually like Levelers and Prodigy and David Bowie actually played. Yeah, and even though they hadn't been paid, they still did it. Really? Oh wow. Yeah, yeah, they were good. Levelers. Yeah, they were cool. Yeah, good times indeed. 90s. Hmm. Yeah. 90s was my 60s, man. Really? Man, I've been to I was Keith out of the Prodigy. In fact, I've got an ex-girlfriend in the UK who said to me every time I think of Keith now, because rest in peace, Keith, I think of you. Me, I used to have the big Prodigy with the ant t-shirt on it, and girls would come up to me and be like, "Look at my tattoo," and they'd have the ant tattooed on there. But my biggest fun time was at that festival, and I got on stage and danced with Keith, and it's on video. And I'm there, I had my hair dyed like white, spiked, and blue tips, and I painted my face blue. And I had my like combat pants on me. I was a real raver, techno raver, techno punk. And there was a massive crowd, and the Max, the singer, was saying we want to see some people up on stage, which is the kind of thing they do, right? So one of the guys, a guy next to me, he's like, "Do you want over the barrier?" I said, "Yeah." So he cupped his hands and I put my boot in it, and he just flung me over. And I'm flying over there into this massive wide area, and then there's the bass bins. So I get onto one of the bass bins, and I'm trying to get up onto the stage, and all of a sudden I see this hand, and I look, and it's Keith. And he pulls me up, and he's going nuts together on the stage, and Max is there, and he's singing, and then uh, they kick us off. There was nearly a riot, basically, nearly a riot, and yeah, Nikki says we might have crossed paths. No doubt, actually, no doubt. Uh, um, anyway, I just remember loads of people trying to get in over this fence, and the security were just had a line going down, and they were pushing everybody back. And I was trying to shout to everybody, "Look, there's no way that they can push you all back if you let them. If you just charge forward, they're screwed." But nobody, they were all like up on drugs, so they're all compliant, like with ecstasy, pretty much compliant. So they were just going out and coming back in again, getting launched back. Oh, it was funny. So in the end, Max, the singer, was like, "Okay, we don't want anybody to get injured, and everything." But yeah, epic times. Yeah. Denmark must be a cool place to see them, don't they? Prodigy. Hmm. So back in the 90s, I was very much into techno trance, and I would go to London to return to the source parties down there, usually at Brixton Academy, and at the Fridge, um, a little place called the Fridge. Which, if you're from London or that time, you'll know Brixton Academy, you'll know the Fridge, and so you got Mega Dog and Return to the Source parties, all night parties. And for Return to the Source, they used to have a huge totem pole in the middle of the main dance floor in Brixton, because Brixton Academy is like 3 stories. So you have the main dance floor, you've got another one, and you've got like the chill out room at the top. And there was some dancers there. That one girl I was dating, she was hot, and from these dancers called the Shishumna dancers. And I was the first one there on the dance floor this one night, and I was dancing around the totem pole. My buddy said all you could hear there at the time for over the music was the stomping boots. And all of a sudden, I just felt somebody grab both my hands, and I was like, "Oh, I'm being asked to leave, led off from the totem." And it wasn't. It was these 13 girls, the Shoshone dancers, all in this white. Oh my God! And they took me in the circle, and they started doing the ritual with me around the totem. I was like, I could feel it, like the energy. And just I had nothing. I had nothing. I didn't take a damn thing. That is the effect of the energy. Like the feeling I was getting was the placebo effect from as if I'd taken a pill, literally. And I don't want to talk about illegal usage, so I'm just saying this is a long time ago. So Nikki knows Brixton Academy really well. Great venue. These are back in the days, guys, when not long after the British government had ruled any music with a repetitive beat, they were trying to outlaw it, and they were actually come up with laws. I mean, draconian laws against freedom of movement. So like everywhere in democracy, like America, a government can't necessarily tell you you're not allowed to congregate in a public area. Well, the British government was saying that. They were saying if there's more than 3 people congregated in a public space, then we're going to treat that as an illegal rave or a party and arrest you. Yeah, I did. I got arrested during that. Yeah, the criminal justice bill, Arch. Yeah, I got arrested for it. Yeah, yeah. I was an activist. Yeah. I got arrested loads of times for going to so-called illegal raves, and they come in. We got arrested by the police. They used the helicopters. They used the dogs. We were in Leeds, in Meanwood Park in Leeds, in the middle of nowhere. They came in with the helicopters. They arrested everybody. They took the DJ's gear, confiscated it. Oh, terrible. Wow. Yeah, Dancing Eye Park. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They couldn't stop that. Hmm. Bad times, those. Can you imagine that, guys? A government telling you that you're not allowed to listen to dance music? Or if there's 5 or 6 of you stood in a park somewhere, you've got tunes playing, you could be arrested for an illegal gathering because you didn't have permission, right? But that's illegal in itself. And actually, it was the European Court of Justice that made that illegal and threatened to prosecute Thatcher's government over it, saying that it was actually unconstitutional and illegal. Right, exactly. Yeah. I still have a clear picture from one of those riots, Nikki, of a bunch of cops wielding batons, and one of the cops is a police medic, and it says on his jacket, police medic. And I put a meme to that, and it said, police medic, he will beat you to health with his wellness stick. Right, right. Yeah, yeah, crazy days. Well, it sticks in your mind, doesn't it, love? It's when we were kids. I mean, I was in my 30s then. I know you're a little bit younger than me, but by about a few years, not much, but 10 years maybe. But we were kids, I was in my 30s. I'd left the military in my early, so after 91, and I was re-signed. But in the 90s, for me, it was me getting my youth back again because I didn't really have one in my 20s. I was in the army. So when I hit my 30s, it was Renaissance. For me, it's perfect, mid 90s. Yeah, you're 10 years younger than me, love. Mm. So I was having my 20s back again then. So, huh. Mm. So I was just telling everybody that we're stopping by, what we're doing with the channel real quick, just to recap. So we've produced 4 more new episodes, which are ready to go. First one being on the island of the dolls in Mexico, and then the other 2. So we're going to be releasing them as a series, like you would expect to see on the History Channel or anywhere else like that. So that's why we haven't really been producing anything, because we've actually been working on new content, and this time we want it to be right before it goes out. Some of the stuff we've had to do in the past, it's been a little rushed, we felt. So we wanted a new approach. And so that's what we're working on. And we built a new studio. We're still in the work of that, actually. And then we're doing the outdoor stuff, which will be like a live or a premiere. And we might just sit around the campfire. And well, for the first one, Nicky, probably early June. We've been sitting on it a while because we wanted to get more of the episodes finished so we can release them once a month or once every couple of weeks or something like that. Um, but yeah, and also, there's so much stuff when you own a property like this. We've had a long, cold winter. We haven't been able to do any groundwork, and now it's getting to the heat plant where it's even hard to work outside because it's too hot. And because of the rain, we have a lot of mosquitoes. In fact, I've just had to put some antihistamine on my wrist there because I got bitten while we were talking. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of work for me to do by myself. So I'm going to have to hire some help and clean up and build those things out in the woods that we were talking about last year, like a couple of small witches' cottages and stuff like that. And we're going to turn them into an Airbnb sort of idea. But when we do our channel stuff, guests for the videos, people will sit around the fire, not necessarily if they don't want the face on camera, but bodies around the fire, interactive. they will get the ability to stay in those cottages for free. So we're looking forward to that. But we're a long way behind, so it might not even be completed this year. It might be next, but we'll make a start this year. Mhm. Yeah, so first episode, Island of the Dolls, will be first week of June, I think, and then there'll be a schedule then after that. Yeah, cool. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. New style, new presentation, less of me, but just think like History Channel sort of thing. Host introduces the show, does a bit of Q&A, whatever, answering, then get on with the show, and then farewell sort of thing. Thanks for watching, whatever, type of thing. But short and sweet. Hopefully people will enjoy that. Yeah. So trying to think of if there's anything else I want to update on, but I can't. Well, yeah, I mean, this is looking a little scruffy out here right now, right? I've got a lot of work to do. I won't show you the weeds. I think you can see some of them there. There we are. Look at those weeds. God, being lazy. Hmm. Well, I know Eleanor might be working actually as well. So if Eleanor's still there or not, I'll say thank you. But chances are she probably was at work and had to jump in. She saw the notification come up, so she thought, oops, I better say hi. Uh, yeah. So over where you are, Nikki, it must be like, what is it now, time wise? Must be around what, 8ish nearly? 8 p.m. maybe? Thinking the time difference between here and the UK is 5 hours. So I'm probably add a couple extra hours onto that. So I'm just guessing that. Yeah, I was something about one of the live streams the other day. I've noticed saying it did it with mine. Actually, when I set the schedule for 12 p.m. or noon my time, and I did the hey Marina greetings, good to see you, Marina. Friend Marina is I don't know if it's okay to say where you're from, but I won't say it. You can if you wish. I won't say it personally in case you don't want me to. Um, so I was thinking about something there. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Yeah, beautiful day here. Just thought I'd take the opportunity to do an impromptu chat and live, and from my friends out there, Nikki New, Fusion Rocket does this regularly or when she can from a beautiful island there. And sometimes she'll be driving around, and sometimes she'll be just doing whatever and on the camera, just having a chat. So that's thought I'd do the same sort of thing today and just hang out for a little bit, and not necessarily be have a meet the channel guy, but there is me and my wife doing the channel, so I'm not the sole person behind that. I've said before, my wife is the one who does all the production and the PC work, and we spent a lot of money on that side of things to make that easier for her. So yeah, getting better. No, I genuinely hope people will enjoy it for what it is. We're not interested in making any money out of this. We're really not into that. So and we do get a lot of like sponsorship offers. One of them's curious, and we're interested in. We're going to look at it, and it's actually we won't advertise it here because the sponsorship deal hasn't gone through yet. But they came to us offering a thumbnail creator, so we're looking into that. And what we're going to do is we'll use it and just do a small promo for it when we do use it, and then we'll be offering people, a subscription. Like with a promo code, so you get it cheaper if you want to use an AI-driven thumbnail creator. But there are millions out there, so yeah, I'm always skeptical of this stuff, but we will see. We will see. Yeah, how's life treating Marina? Am I right? Are you in the Ukraine? Is that right? I didn't want to mention it, but if you're the person I'm thinking of, yay or nay. But I do know somebody who's a long time. I've known them for quite a while. Whether they know me or not, I don't know. But I used to go to a lot of space channels as well myself. I'm into space technology and the like as well. So been into NASA since I was a kid. Don't mind me, I'm smoking. That's why it says not for kids. I don't condone smoking, by the way, so don't follow my example. Bad for you. Yeah, it's crazy, crazy weather we're having everywhere in the world. It's I wouldn't want to be in India. My God, India had it bad. Yeah, I watch the British Sky News over here in the USA from time to time. I generally put that on because it's calmer than the kind of junk we get fed here. It's you can go from a favourable story about the president to women's healthcare or skincare in 5 seconds. So if I want to take in some news, I like my news to sort of be to the point and not coloured by an opinion. It just has to be presented as it should. And I think Sky sometimes does that. Okay, thanks, Marina. Good, awesome. Yeah, so sometimes I like to cite what's got and I like to see what's going on in the world, but I don't want to let it affect me because it can. It affects us all. When we watch shit like that, it's not good, is it? So try and take the best out of it. So I watch Sky because I can kind of get a sort of unbiased kind of news program, and I just like watching the weather forecasts, man. I'm like, wow, 45 Celsius in India right now in Mumbai. I'm like, God, no, I couldn't survive. Bad enough when it hits 110 Fahrenheit here. Yeah. Well, I hope everything's going well for you there, Marina. I really do. One thing about Marina, I've seen she's been around on the internet for a long time now that I've known. Last few years, I've seen her, and I remember I went into one space channel, tech channel, and it was a small channel, and that was the first time I saw you, Marina. And you were talking about Angry Astronaut, and that's when I started checking out Angry Astronaut channel. But started watching him. I don't anymore now. It's a little bit too much for me, um, but I still follow the space program, mostly NASA. I'm not really into 45 Fahrenheit. It's still Celsius. That's crazy shit. I'm not really into SpaceX. I'll be honest. I like what they do, but I'm not into the guy who owns the company. So NASA though is different. So you know, you look at what they did recently with Artemis. I've been waiting for that. And I'm hoping that everything works out for that program and they do manage to put somebody on the moon again. We will see. Yeah, Marina. Summer is here, babe. Summer's here, pal. I, I'm drinking a nice cold ginger ale. Unfortunately, being outside, it goes flat too quick. It starts to just taste like sugar water. Mm. Summertime and the weather is breezy. So thank you for joining us under our tent porch. Um, Okay, Nikki. Mickey's having to leave us. All right. Well, you have a good evening over there. Thanks for stopping by. It was great to see you. We'll try and do a few more of these. Take care. See you soon. Mwah. Bye for now, mate. Yeah, that was cool. Nice of her to get the chance to drop in with all the time difference there, several hours. So I was hoping she might get a chance to stop by and say hello. Nikki's Fusion Rocket is, guys, is one of the channels that I like to visit when they're live. I will do that. I'll pass that on for you, Nikki. Thanks. I'll let her know. I'll be talking to her in about an hour, so I'll tell her. Thanks for the likes, guys. Appreciate that. Thanks for joining us today over in Maine, for stopping in and looking at what's going on here at Folklore. And like I said, just to share it with you all and say hi, happy Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday, right? I think, yeah. It's been a long weekend. Glad to hear, Marina. Yeah, yeah. Keep going to the Aglass. No, I'm one of the moderators there. Yeah, cool, cool. Yeah, big channel that now. Grown quite well, from what I remember anyway. Um, yeah. I don't suppose you probably use Discord there, though, do you, Marina? Because I know they use Discord a lot in the background. I know a lot of people, can't use it or don't for good reasons, or can't. So, because that's where they used to do the live studio work from, isn't it? Sometimes when they had multiple guests, and they were doing a live, they would run it through that, so you could have a few people on, which I think's cool. I want to try and do that someday, but it's actually harder than it seems, without the right equipment. Kind of limiting. I mean, we can do it, but it's a lot of work for the producer. Right, right, right. Yeah, it's an interesting channel. I was a member of it, and I was a moderator there as well, like yourself. Yeah, yeah. I was very busy. And all that certainly needed a lot of moderators. Yeah. We don't need so many moderators here, thankfully, yet. But yeah, we have one or two good ones, and they get here when they can. Yeah. Yeah, we was just telling some of our friends earlier that the channel's doing different stuff with the episodes, so it's going to be a lot more professional and easier to watch, I guess, but a little bit more entertaining. Try and lift the profile a little bit more, but we've always been a storytelling channel, and we did a little nature for a while, and I think that wasn't such a good idea, to try and mix the two with nature out back and um, storytelling, something like that. Yeah, yeah. It's not. I'll be honest about you. Discord's only useful when you have a larger group, but surprisingly enough, not that many people are really interested in it. I mean, we have a Discord server, we have a few members, but nobody really uses it that much. Not really, which is surprising, for me, but maybe one day they will, but who knows? So we're not really focused on that. You would think that people would like the opportunity to talk a bit more, but actually not a lot of people do. They prefer it the way they are, like they might come to the channel and watch something and then never leave a comment. You know what I mean? They might leave a like, but they might not leave a comment, or it's, it's just the way it is. Hmm. Me, I like to talk a lot, so I like talking to people. I like finding out where other people are in the world and what they do. Uh, I'm a former radio amateur, so that's probably where that comes from. Back in the 80s, I was into amateur radio, and I would talk to people all over the world on that, a long time before the internet was ever around. And it was harder because you had to rely on radio um, to get any propagation in the atmosphere for the signal to bounce. So I could talk to somebody in Australia one month, but then a month later I wouldn't be able to because the radio signal wasn't bouncing. Yeah, Starship Flight 12. Right, yeah. That was the latest one, wasn't it? The one where he's offering SpaceX up for public ownership. Big one that they landed in the Indian Ocean, right? Hmm. I saw just a little bit of that on the news. Yeah, God, yeah. Well, what about Artemis though? I mean, that would have been for me anyway. Artemis launch. I watched that all the way through, from the end all the way through every day for the full 10 days. I was watching NASA television. Um, and I loved it. Loved every minute of it, especially the return, and the beauty of it all. It went off beautifully. They got back real safe, and apart from the whole thing with this stupid porch idea that they have to bring in and then put around the capsule in the ocean so they can get the astronauts off and into this big raft thing. I mean, that seemed to take like an hour or so before they could actually get the astronauts out of the capsule there. So, yeah. But yeah, not so bothered. I don't really see a future in Starship personally. I don't see how it could ever be useful. Certainly not for what suggesting they want to use it for. It's just not a viable option. I don't know where they think they're going with that. It doesn't make any sense. But, mm, yeah, it's just the whole thing with Starship. It's not. It, it'll have its some purposes, sure, but I don't think you're going to be able to take. You'd need a whole bunch of them, and landing them yet. They haven't even had a successful. I wouldn't get on it. Let's put it that way. Yeah. I'd get on Artemis, but I wouldn't get on the Starship. Not a chance. I'd be dead before that thing's ever going to be any good. That's just my thought. And probably next 20 years. Fun to watch now, eh? Yeah, fun to watch. If you like Ruds, rapid. What is it? Oh, I can't remember what it stands for now. Disassembly, anyway. Yeah, anyway, Ruds. Funny. It went boom again. Yeah, still a lot of work. Marina says still a lot of work. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for stopping in. We're just here for a impromptu chat today. So if you're just flying by, it's good to see you. We've had quite a few people coming in to check out the live stream, and they're just thinking, yeah, no, that's fine. Like I say, this will be an unlisted video. It won't be public. So we're just doing it just for a bit of fun today. Good to see some friends of all the new coming in. So yeah, Marina astronauts return from Mars. NASA started preparing. Yeah, I know. And weirdly enough, I have an opportunity to work on Artemis 4 because there's job opportunities down in Florida right now for NASA. Um, I can't say where I currently work exactly what I do, but it's along the technical side of things, mostly number crunching for a defense company here in Maine, in the US, United States. They build warships, and part of my job is the specifications on certain pieces of equipment that go in them. So it's a multi-department thing, and there is job opportunities down there for people like me. Um, so you wouldn't actually be working on the ship itself, you'd be somewhere else, number crunching and um, specs for whether it could be a pipe fuel line, it could be a motivator, it could be anything. So yeah, thinking about it. I work a lot of hours right now for the company. I work night shifts as well, so I'm doing 12 to 14-hour night shifts because the company was on strike, and they had to come to terms with, I can't say too much, with Department of Defence, current Department of Defence, regarding certain amounts of work that should be completed in time, and then budget. So a lot of difficult times. Yeah, yeah. Artemis 3 has they've had to really kind of speed up that process now. They had the successful, because let's not forget they have Gateway to think about, which is part of that project, right? So they have to put the Gateway up there. Um, Thank you for that, Eleanor. Glad to see you here. Yeah, so they have to build Gateway and put that up in orbit, and then the whole process should be that you have an orbital station that you can then fly to, dock with, and transfer to an orbital craft that shall take you down to the moon's surface. You'll live and work there, or they build a base, and then another craft then will take you from the lunar surface up to the Gateway, and then you'll transfer for the trans-Earth injection. Yeah, I think that's how it's planned to work. So with three, they're going to do. Um, I can't remember what they're doing with three, but I know four is supposed to be set up for landing. So yeah, be interesting to see what happens. I was actually penciled in to go visit one of these launches for Artemis, but when it got delayed, I couldn't. And of course, then when they announced Artemis 2 for the flyby, I couldn't do it. So, hmm. Interesting times, though. I mean, it would be good to see people back on the moon again. I mean, all the people who think we never went to the moon, but uh, there's too much evidence left on the surface of the moon for that to not be true, you know. So the reflectors, I've used them as an amateur radio to bounce microwave signals off. You can't place those on the moon automatically. They have to be placed manually in certain locations. And we used to measure the distance of the moon moving further away from the Earth every year using that and bounce them off and say, oh, it's moved a half an inch. It's further away. Well, thanks, Eleanor. Are you working? Oh, of course you are. Probably. Mm. Yeah, hot. So right here, I'm sitting underneath what I call my little Arabian tent when I was out in the desert, hanging out there. Just take a beach umbrella, 9 feet wide. You get some of this mesh on Amazon or Temu or wherever. It's quite cheap, stretchy. You throw that over, and then you pin it down to wherever you want. And it gives you this beautiful canopy shade like this. Spin it around to the other side of the porch there. Well, can't go too far, but yeah, pop that back. Don't make you all dizzy. Help if I could tighten this up. Hold on. There we go. Oh, really? Yeah, yeah. Wow. You know, could be 2030 by now, I think, probably 29, 30, something like that, for Artemis to land. Yeah. But let's face it, nobody else is doing it, are they? I mean, the Chinese, they're probably one of the only people in the world right now that can actually put somebody on the moon, probably. Um, and they aren't there yet. So it's good. Mm, thank you. So it's probably late evening for you now where you are, Marina, I would imagine. Maybe sunset. I'm not sure. Not sure of the time difference for us between us, but early afternoon here. Um, yeah, pouring torrential rain yesterday. Some massive heat temperatures over the weekend, and then Monday, which was a day holiday, absolutely torrential rain, just poured down. So quite humid today, but it's good. It's good. Just trying to deal with mosquitoes. Got a lot of those things. Hate them. Awful. Yeah. So we're going to be doing some live stories. I can't really see it too good in the chair here. So it's going to be some new campfire stories coming up from there live, and we'll be cooking like food, maybe on the grill, maybe on the fire. Uh, maybe one or two, just talking, not necessarily a story, but I was thinking more like a chat, just talking about stories and our favorite stories from our childhood and things like that, that type of thing. Oh yeah, 7:45. Yeah, 1943. Cool. Yeah, not too bad. So does it, question then, does it get dark around about that time there? Like over here, it gets dark between and around about 8:39. Start the sun gets down low. Looking this way, I'm looking west. If I go to my left that way, that's west. I got kind of easterly in that direction. North is right over there. Obviously south behind me. So we're kind of looking south right now. If I was to point that way, I'm within about 2 miles. I'm looking straight across the North Atlantic towards Northern Europe. Yeah, good. Yeah, long days. Hmm. Everybody keeps saying that the temperatures everywhere are a lot higher this year. I don't think they are. I think it's fairly normal. Hmm. So what's the next space mission that you're going to be watching then, Marina? Is it going to be another Starship, SpaceX, or I know Artemis is a year away. I saw before three, so it's going to be SpaceX, really. Sure. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really get a lot of news about space missions here. Artemis wasn't really covered that well, I didn't think, for American news broadcasters. There was NBC did cover it quite a lot, but other than that, they didn't. There wasn't that much coverage of it, so it's a bit disappointing, really. I had to go to YouTube and watch it on there. Yeah, getting dark at 8. Yeah, yeah, about the same here, really. I'd say still a little cooler. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what this year's going to be like. I can say like last June, it wasn't even like this until the end of June. Well, May was a complete washout, and most of June as well for us. That was like it felt more like late winter, you know. But this year, bam, it's come back with a vengeance, mate. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of channels I used to go to. I haven't had the chance to go and visit, and I'm still subscribed to a lot of them too, but I haven't had the chance to really to sort of go out and hang out on channels much. And as worldwide, I won't go out as worldwide on other channels now because I just think it confuses people. They think it's one person instead of it being a channel itself. So if I do go to other channels, I'll go on my personal YouTube account, and then on that account, I won't refer to this channel at all. Just having there for me, really. Um, but some people sort of know that it is me, um, and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, worldwide," or something, and I'm like, "No, no, no, no. I'm not worldwide. The channel's worldwide. I'm not. Channel's made up of more than one person." Right, Marina says, next might be Starship Flight 13, which they say maybe in September. Hmm, hmm, interesting. Have they actually managed to successfully land it, like, or without it blowing up? Yeah. You just stopping by. Thank you, joining us. We're just having a little chat. impromptu afternoon chat for me here in Maine, in USA. And thanks for stopping by. Beautiful day. Hope yours is too, wherever you're at. I'm just chatting with some people, and thanks for stopping by. Right, right, getcha. Yeah, I hear that. It's all about the time. You just don't, the time zones and everything else is really different. So, I mean, you can't always be there, you know. Um, Somebody decides to have a lunchtime uh, thing. Depends on where you are in the world. So, it is what it is. I'm grateful that people stop by, and say hello, like yourself. Just good to see you again. It's been a while. Ooh, breezy. Yeah. Now, Eleanor Salas is a person that likes to go to live streams a lot, and um, generally ends up moderating in them. To be honest, not that I'm saying that's a bad thing, because I'm not. She's one of my moderators, so why would it be? But hence that's the reason why she is a moderator, because she's good at it, and there isn't a lot of work for her to do, so she can relax. She doesn't have to do it too much. But some channels, man, like Angry's, my God, I've seen some of the crap that people used to paste in there. You know what I mean? It's one of those channels, isn't it? It encourages it, and I think that's the ploy, really. Reaction. Mm. Yeah, I see. Yeah, for everybody who's watching, Maria translates novels and books, um, part of her way of life, so she translates and writes them into a translation for one language to the other. So I slowed down a little bit, I would say. Excuse me. Mm, mm. Interesting. I'd love to sort of check out some of those titles sometime. See if there's any one of them I know that I may have read myself one time. You never know. I used to read quite a lot, but again, not so much in book formats now. It's more to do with digital, I guess. A bit easier to get a hold of. One of my favorite authors is a guy called Terry Pratchett. You might have heard of him. Wrote a lot of like fantasy novels, quite a lot. Funny too, kind of paranormal, sort of like a bit of a rip on the Lord of the Rings or that kind of stuff. Funny. Yeah, Terry Pratchett. If you don't know him, check it out sometimes if you're into fantasy, like magical stuff. But it's a lighter side of it. Doesn't take itself seriously at all. So definitely, if you haven't read any Terry Pratchett, I'd start with things like Mort, the book called Mort, Mort. The Light Fantastic is a good one. Excellent. But there's so many. Witches Abroad. That's a brilliant book. That is. I could go on. The list is endless. Brilliant author, uh, and funny. Just totally funny. I have you in stitches. So, so what was the? I was just going to ask that. 5 fantasy books. Wow, that must have taken a long time. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wrote a book some years ago myself. I never had it published. It's still in its draft form. I guess it is. Wrote that in the early 2000s. It's a science fiction story. Actually, quite a lot of the stuff that I wrote about there has come true. Um, I wrote it, we didn't have an iPad. We didn't have the sort of level of technology really that exists in that story is something that will exist in the next 100 or so years. Holographic imagery, telepathy through internet, things like that. You should, yeah, you should. You should spend the time and have an idea or whatever it might be that really is there, and what with your knowledge and of science and tech, then just write what you feel. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a dystopian story. It could be a utopian, because I think it's a lot easier to write a dystopian based story than it is to write a utopian one. You know, how do you see, for example, like me, how do you see or feel or think about the integration of man and technology? Because I believe personally that we could be possibly in a future where, in my story anyway, every human that's born, they have been genetically altered, but every child that's born is superhuman almost. It's that their bones are actually as strong as titanium. Um, they can breathe different atmospheres. They have larger eyes. Their eyesight's better. Their cognitive abilities are better. They don't use speech very much. Don't use language. So yeah, no, you're welcome, Marina. Check it out. If you want a good laugh and you like reading, you're going to enjoy Terry Pratchett. I guarantee it. You'll not only that, but I think you'll agree with me possibly if you do read one, which is I think is where J.K. Rowling stole most of her ideas for Harry Potter from. Because if you actually watch Harry Potter, some of the funniest moments in them, to me, I said to my wife, I said, that's straight out of a Terry Pratchett novel. I mean, you know, there's just so many similarities. Like she read Terry Pratchett and the humor, uh, you know. Mm. I used to read that years ago, and I just laughed so hard every time. My friends would be like, "What are you laughing at?" And I'd be like, "Oh, it's this book. It's so funny." And let's face it, you've got a lot of things you could be writing about right now. Yeah, I know. But if you do, let me know. I'd be interested in reading it. Maybe, yeah, kind of stuff like that. Would be really cool to serialize over YouTube, wouldn't it? Have it read, or you read it, or somebody reads it for you, or you do whatever. But yeah, you could image it. There's so much you could do with your own stories on YouTube. No pressure. Yeah, I'm just looking around me right now. I just occasionally I keep hearing some movement out in the woods there beyond the camera, and I heard a branch snap. I'm sure you guys probably didn't hear it, but I did. Probably a deer. We do get quite a lot of deer through here because of all the ferns that are growing now, and deers love the young ferns. Forgotten what the names are, and they like to eat them. So we do get a lot of deer come through sometimes. Might catch one today. Who knows? The other day there was about 12 of them over in the backyard just grazing away. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I don't been kind of following a few other channels recently. I'm subscribed to quite a few channels. Again, I don't really get much chance to get to, depending on when they're live or when they release something. Usually, it's always after So I try and catch up with them, but there are some I haven't managed to sort of catch up with for a long time. So I need to start doing that, I guess, for sure. Uh, I can think of a few. I mean, I haven't been to Angry's Channel for a long time, but I mean, I'm not really into that so much, the style of it anymore. But I'll drop by once in a while and see. Yeah, about inspiration, man. You've got tons of it, tons of it, man. Can't believe it. Yeah. I'd be interested to see what it is that you write about, though. What kind of style, whether it be sci-fi, whether it be right. We'll see. Yeah, we're just focusing on the channel to do some new episodes, and this sort of thing, an impromptu live isn't the sort of thing I'd normally do, but it's such a nice day. I thought I'd come outside and maybe just do an hour or so, and like my friend Nikki does, she'll just put the camera on and go live, and I thought, why not? Just do an hour and a half and say hello to folks, and then maybe do a few more this week. If you get the chance to stop in, again, and you see it live, come in and say hi. It's awesome to see you. Um, and just chat about the things that we're up to, uh, how the way the world is right now. Crazy. And I was hoping that one of my other two friends might stop by, but obviously they're probably either working or um, haven't seen this. They won't be watching it after the fact because I'm not going to be publishing it. So, what else can we talk about? Time lag and everything else is difficult. I thought I had a lot to talk about, but I don't right now. Kind of said most of it. I could go on about the sponsorship deals that we have coming up, but that's just going to be boring, so I won't talk about that. Yeah. I can see like my friend Ezra is there, but Ezra just messaged me on Discord. Hi Ezra, sure you can hear me. Ezra is using, can't remember. Ezra, you're using a tablet of some sort that doesn't give you the live chat feed. You can watch the video, he says, but I can't see live chat. So that's due to the device you're on, Ezra. You need to get another device, a phone, or because the Fire tablet ain't gonna do it. And I've seen this before. You can't actually change it over to do that. So hey, DJ Pink, welcome in, brother. Marina, say hello to DJ Pink. He's in the UK. Good channel there. If you're into techno music, by the way, you should go check him out. Play some nice mixes. I was checking in on one of the mixes earlier today, the 20-minute one that you did there, DJ Pink. Uh, the transition one it was. Yeah. So it's pretty good. 20 minutes. I had it on out here, sitting out on the porch. Yeah, having a good time. Put the tunes on, do a little work down in the yard, and had that playing. It was nice. Really cool. Yeah, Marina. Absolutely. Can't wait. No, no, it worked. It worked really well for me. I mean, it was seamless. I could see. Honestly, my only criticism with that sort of music, which is me going back to the 90s, was that drum, that snare drum build. The it was so overdone. As a drummer, because I am a drummer and I used to play techno on an electronic kit, um, I would never do that because it was just so overused and predictable. My only criticism is that, but that's me personally. That snare going up, I can't stand that crap. I'll be honest with you. But that's because I'm a drummer, honestly, and it's not any reflection on what you do. It's just as a drummer, I don't do that because it's predictable. There are other effects you can bring in to create that crescendo. But other than that, it was awesome, brilliant. Um, and I also like this, the style. It's kind of like retro for me as well. It's that retro in there. And then you have your friend Miss Lyrical. So I haven't really had much chance to check that out, but I will. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, same here for me with narration. I had to come a long way to even get to a point where I'm reasonably happy with it, but I'm still nowhere near where I want to be in it. So whoa. Um, yeah, trance I love. Techno, acid trance, more of the dark underground trance like Goa trance. So some of the older names like Man with No Name, Infinity Project, Coxbox. God, I could go on. Man with No Name. I said Astral Projection, good band. Jewish guy and a Palestinian. Oh, nice. Yeah, awesome. I wondered. I thought that might have been you might have been in that sort of relationship there. Cool, cool, cool. Hmm. But yeah, 90s was my decade for dance music. I was in my 30s then, so yeah, if you did an underground trance mix and you ripped some of the stuff, if you could, I could even give you an idea of some of the stuff that I like. So, Man with No Name, Floor Essence is a good one. That's another one. If you listen to Paul Oakenfold's Goa mix, then there's a lot of the bands I've talked about he uses in that mix. Um, so you've got like, the electrons do it to the neutrons, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you get a vibe if you know Goa Mix by Paul Oakenfold. It's an old one. It's kind of like that sort of style stuff. He uses a lot of Man with No Name and Astral Projection, Infinity Project, things like that. But yeah, I love it. I love hard trance. Stuff that's almost retro now, but it's still today. It's got like so much relevance to it. And you listen to the originals that people were doing then, and like just how good it was, man. I mean, mid-90s, boom, in England, whew, Scorchio, huh? Mm. Oh, cool, great crasher. Yeah, right on, right on. Yeah, I mean, he was the deal, wasn't he, back in the day, Oakenfold? Same with a few others, like BBC Radio 1 on a Saturday night would always be the essential mix. So if you couldn't go out anywhere, you'd be probably at home and your friends over, probably put essential mix on. Um, uh, yeah, so mid-90s, brilliant. I was talking with Nicky New earlier about this actually, Pink, and we were talking about, back in the day in England when they had the old criminal justice bill and how they were trying to make it illegal for anybody who was having even getting together in a public space might have a radio on or something, and they were saying that you weren't allowed to congregate and all of this sort of thing, and we were almost in the civil war over that. I was talking with her about that earlier. She's on Gran Canaria, I think, or Palma in the Med. Yeah, she's awesome. Well, of course you know Nikki. Yeah, that's where we met. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. She stopped by earlier, Fusion Rocket. Yeah, went on the stream because she saw I was live. She's a great person, Nikki. I love her to bits. She's so genuine, and she knows the shit too. She's been around. So she even said, we were just talking about these experiences like Brixton Academy and the Fridge in Brixton and places in London that I used to go to, and she was saying there's a good chance that you and I cross paths, and I couldn't disagree with her, because chances are probably. I mean, Britain's not such a big country, and a lot of us go to the same raves or parties, right? Overnights, all nighters. And we used to drive from northern Yorkshire down to London for an all nighter, dance our tits off all night, and then drive home the next day and play football on Sunday. So. I'll be right back. I just need to use the bathroom real quick. Ooh, ooh. Okay, I'm back. Ooh, man, seat is hot. Yeah, Nikki's awesome. I'm glad she's a friend of ours on YouTube. She's fun. And also, I've met quite a lot of nice new people through Nikki's channel as well. When she goes live, friends from the UK, people have maybe signed up on the channel here, or uh, yeah, so it's good. Ah, having an issue with Discord, having to re-download it. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know what's going on with Discord. No, no, I don't know that one. I'll have to check that one out. Sophia. Yeah, I will. I'll do that. Thanks for that, Rick. Um, yeah, I don't know Sophia. At least I don't think so. But I will. I'll definitely check her out. Yeah, just some good people. Good to chat to, and share where you're at in the world and catch up a little bit, have an impromptu chat like this, and hang out, say hi in the text. Uh, Public for now. Normally for this channel, I put it to subscriber mode, but for this one, oh, okay, yeah, hippie Sophia, she's good. Yeah, nice, thanks. Yeah, I'll definitely go check that out for sure. I might look her up actually after this live. Probably run this for another 20 minutes, and then I'll be expecting some phone calls, so um, probably go off for that. So what's it been like over in Doncaster then today, Lee? Because yeah, have you been working or? Hey, Ms. Lyrical, good to see you. Hi, how are you? How's life treating you? I have to remember there's a 30-second delay here, so I'm seeing your text messages coming up in the live, and then I'm replying to them. But obviously there's a delay, so if you're seeing that, you'll know that's what's going on. I'm seeing you, but you're hearing me a little bit of a delay. So yeah, just chewing the fat here about music as well and all kinds of stuff. It's good with your boyfriend, 33. Yeah, I was watching some of the football, man. I was watching the footy over the weekend for the, Premier League Championship Sunday, whatever. So I was we had 10 games on all at once, so I was trying to catch up on a bit of that. And I was laughing at everybody in the spectators, you could see them going, turning beetroot and burning in the sun there. And it's like, you poor buggers. I bet none of you were wearing sunscreen. Yeah, everybody, my friend Marina, she's in the Ukraine, if you want to know. And a friend of mine from our interests in space tech. and all things to do with NASA and SpaceX. I mean, not so much with the SpaceX, but certainly diehard space tech people like Marina. Anybody launches, they're going to be interested, whether it be China, Russia, or anybody else. It's all part of that. So you know. And then, of course, for Marina, DJ Pink and DJ Ms. Lyrical are both from the UK, from Yorkshire, which is where I'm from in the UK. Best county in the world. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, doing good. As you can see, it's sunny. I'm in my yard, which is the woods as well. 35 acres of forestry that I look after and live in. So if you don't know, I could show you the view, but it's I have to move and I'm lazy. But yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. Yeah, feels like a Monday. It's a Tuesday. Feels like a Monday. Thank you. Yeah, very proud of it. Peaceful and solitude. There's only one road in and one road out, so we don't see people unless they have a reason to come. And that's usually FedEx or delivery drivers. I have one neighbour who's about a half a mile away, and that's it. Uh, It's living the dream, as they say in this country. I think I've been here for since 2002. I brief story. I worked with the British military. I retired in after 91, after the first Gulf. And then after 9/11 happened, a bunch of us were recalled because of our urban combat knowledge and experience, special forces. So we became a part of JSOC, and I was working out in South Carolina training American new GIs after 9/11 about urban combat and the sort of techniques that the British use, and the differences between America and good for you, Royal Marine. Now they're the best. They're the best. I'm former Black Watch Royal Highland Regiment and the regiment. So if you know the regiment, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. So worked with Delta Force and SEALs, but prefer Delta any day of the week, closer to us. Anyway, yeah. Wow. 22nd Squadron. Oh, get up. No, that's interesting. It's going back a bit. So yeah, 20 odd years. I worked down there, and then I went after a year. I went back to the UK. We were paid by the US, Department of Defense. I went back to the UK, and I hated it. My dad passed away of cancer, and I don't have a mother as such. I haven't seen her for years, so I have a sister there, and just no reason to stay. And a friend of mine who's special forces here just said, you should move. I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And he said, oh, you'd be surprised. So anyway, I applied, and yeah, please come for an interview, and that was it. I haven't done my citizenship. I'm on a green card, third green card, no, second green card now. So I'm what they call a legal alien. But thinking about it, maybe when this administration is no longer with us, then I'll consider citizenship, but not at this time. It's good to have a get out of jail free card just in case. And also, like I said to my wife, my country might need me again one day. You never know. Right. Well, thank you for your service, Lee. Uh, I worked with quite a few Royal Marines in the past, especially in the 80s when things were really hot. Of course, today Britain really doesn't have a fighting force worth talking about. But there you go. Are you heading out, Marina? Are you heading out? You leaving us? I'd just like to thank everybody for hitting that like button. Really appreciate that. It's really good to be able to hang out with you guys. It's a real shame we can't do this face to face on camera. But just to say that there is Discord available to us, and if you do have Discord, there's something that I'm looking forward to doing is to just have an open channel on Discord where we can actually be on camera together and talk, and we can do that in Discord, and it won't be on YouTube. So we can hang out together with our cameras or just voice if we want, have a conversation, and have fun. See each other when we're doing it if you're into that. So it's an option for us just to say that, yeah. Yeah. So reading on the text chat, again, the news today, we're preparing strategically for attacks in home soil. Totally agree. And without going into too much detail, this was happening many decades ago anyway. This isn't a problem that's happened recently. This is an underfunding problem that's been going on since I retired from the military. So, and let's face it, when I was in the military, we had far more kit and better kit than most of the soldiers do today. Never mind having failed the Navy. Uh, the regulars, I really don't know how good they are. But I'm telling you now, if we had to have national conscription in Britain, it wouldn't be good because the population of the people, in my opinion, are not fighters anymore. They're privileged people who've grown up having everything given under security of NATO. So if we were invaded, I just don't know how many of the population would be up to it. That's just my general honest feeling. But I might be wrong, and I hope I am. We were trying to fight Russians. I don't know if the people know this in the world, but the British military were trying to fight Russians. People like me were, and we're ruthless. We're ruthless. Um, the Americans think they're tough, but they ain't seen the British open up with everything they've got. And a lot of guys would say that to us when we landed. We'd be like, "Holy shit, you guys came with everything, didn't you?" And they said, "Well, there's no point in doing a job unless it's done right." In and out. Thanks very much. Yeah, they'd fold. They'd fold. Hmm. They'd fold, mate, as soon as they lost their cell service on their phones. Seriously. They'd be all crying and not knowing what the hell to do. Like, well, it's my phone. You know what I mean? Why is my phone not working? Because someone's just dropped bombs on you, you dick. It's an interesting conversation, isn't it? Especially if you've been farmer like we have. It's very fascinating. See where we're at. It's like, man, this I mean recently, yesterday in the United States it was Memorial Day. Now, I'll tell you a quick story. I've been a black watcher and I'm a kilt wearer. I'm Scotsman by ancestry. I was born in the UK, but my family is Scottish, and that's the reason why I'm a Munro. That's my surname, and so Black Watch is part of my family. In fact, their tartan is my family's hunting tartan, as well as Black Watch's military tartan, the dark green and black and purple you see. So um, that's my family tartan as a military hunting tartan. So I can wear that regardless. But people see it and think, oh, Black Watch. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, but I was standing when the Queen died, who was I was only loyal to as a military commander. I'm not a loyalist. When she died, I went out onto one of the piers in the United States here, and I was dressed in my full regalia and just standing on the pier. And this lady walked by, and she said, "Oh, nice outfit. What's the occasion?" And I said, "Well, the Queen passed today." And she went, "Oh, good for you." It's like, okay, well, I'll forgive it because you're American and you're ignorant. You don't care about it. But even so, but that was the end of it for me when she passed. It was like, okay, you don't know. Okay, my honor of duty is served. Done. So start maths, English to a degree, teach life skills and how to survive. Yeah, totally. Uh, I'm not going to say Boy Scouts, but I went to a grammar school in England, and it was basically a military academy for kids. And at 13, I was shooting on a rifle range with a 22 Martini, and then out in the field, I was using a Lee Enfield 303, but not with live rounds. Obviously, they were blanks, but I mean a live 303 round. I mean, sorry, a blank .303 round can still do a lot of damage if you shoot somebody with at short range. When in fact one kid blew his toes off because he was balancing the gun on his foot, and he had one in the chamber, and it went off and it blew his toes off. So that's just the Enfield 303, best rifle in the world. Well, I was firing MX3 at 13 at school. And so we had the regular army come over with the Scorpion tank, which was the 70s. So that was new. And armored cars, and they would take us for drives. And of course, it was all the MOD were funding this stuff. Yes, sir, I definitely am a carrier. Yeah, I got 4 Glocks, 3 SIGs, and God knows how many rifles. Yeah. You want to see one? I'll show you one right now. Let me just get it on camera for you. Hold on. Ooh, yeah, pistol. So that's the yeah, that's right, 5.56. Yeah, yeah. Little itty bitties. Got a belt of them in there, 68 and a belt, a clip. I could go get it and show you, but it's in the other room. I'm not going to bother going bringing it out. But yeah, 5.6. Beautiful little thing. That's a Sig Sauer scope on it. Really nice scope, actually. It's beautiful, clear, excellent. And I would call that a nice medium range platform. Um, you know, fairly interchangeable. But yeah, I look at that as a bit of a toy. I'll be right back. I'm just going to put it back. No, this is the 5.6, 5.5. The 7.62s are a little overkill right here. I can shoot in my backyard, no problem, right? And I have target ranges down there because I only target shoot. I don't, I don't hunt. And but down in the woods there, I have my target set off for 50 yards, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, and 500 meters. Oh, yards, sorry. So from the porch on the rest right here, I have a table that'll fold out, and I'll sit right where I am, and I'll put this down on its rests, and literally I can just come up and don't not move the damn thing. And it's zoned in for 150 yards. So for anything a little over, it's just a slight elevation, But I mean, really not. But right now I'm looking at it through this mag, and I'm looking at the crystal clearly at the bark of a tree, which is a good quarter mile away. Well, I can see the birds on it. I wish I could put it to the camera. I'll be right back. I'm just going to put this one away. Oh, oof. So I'm assuming that. Oh, hey, yeah, nice. Oh, nice, Heckler and Koch. Fully auto. How do you get away with that? Don't tell me. I don't want to know. Uh, Let me just check. I've got a message help for review. I'm sure it's not inappropriate, so I'm just gonna Just bear with me a sec. It's not letting me. Yeah, I got that, but it should be allowing me to open that message. Anyway, whatever it was you said, Lee. Hold on. Oh, I'm going to show that. Why is it says another moderator handled it, but no, they didn't. I don't know what the heck is going on with YouTube. I've made Marina a standard moderator, and I'm probably going to make Pink a moderator as well. Just give me a sec. This is being annoying. Yeah, you see, that was nothing. Yeah, it's just if you saw something that your message was held for review lyrical, don't worry about it. It's just YouTube being bum. I've opened that up. I know what that was, and I don't know why it's thinking that would be inappropriate. So apologies. Yeah, Marina, the toys that we're talking about, yeah. I mean, yeah, I call them tools. Cool beans, man. Cool beans. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as you see in the US, it's legal to possess, and I don't open carry. I do have a concealed carry permit. So if I wanted to do that, I could, but I don't open carry. I don't carry in public. I don't conceal. But my toys are for out here for playing with, and of course, should you need it, self-defense. But other than that, nobody gets to see them, and they're locked away in the house. And that's the only time I've literally ever shown that one little camoed uh, AR type thing, pistol grip thing on anything. I generally don't. So Marina, congratulations. You're now a moderator. Well, no, it's not. Supermarket sweet. Yeah, it's funny, man. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, pretty much everybody out here carries something, you know what I mean? So, I mean, where I live, there isn't really gun crime, I mean, I'm sure there is somewhere, but Maine's fairly peaceful state overall. I mean, you don't get people running around being stupid. Yeah, I'm just going to read this. Like, my friend is his power around here ago, working for military charity or a weapon collection. I used to live stream it and show the kid. Loved it. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, cool. See, what I want to do, well, I have been doing actually, but I'm not doing it anymore, is teaching kids here in schools how to shoot air weapons. So we invite school kids up, you know, it's legitimate, not right, you know what I mean? Like class. And they come up, they have a range set out for them, and they have an afternoon or a few hours, and they get to shoot really nice rifles, whether it be bench shooting, teach them all the three disciplines as much as I can. It's all about weapon safety mostly, but the biggest part of air rifles, particularly these ones, is they're nearly as powerful as a powder charged weapon in many cases. In fact, one of them, a 40 calibers, is as powerful, and it will easily bring down a deer. But basic reason is to teach them weapon discipline, shooting target practice, using the same platform, being able to sort of make a shot within a dime. Let's say, going from say like 200 yards to 600 yards, let's say. And where can you make that land? Where's the POI, on that point of impact? And and then it really kind of tests your shooting abilities. How well you get used to a particular rifle or gun, or how good you are at using it. All of the things you need to be thinking about when you're using it, and most importantly, when you're going to take the shot, what's behind it, things like that. Yeah, I mean, if you find it, Lee, stick it on Discord when your Discord's working for me, mate, if you will. 8 feet. Power is legal limit here for a 2.2, 177. Okay, no problem. Yeah. Oh, I remember the Webleys. Man, God, they were good. Okay, make a chimney here. Yeah, guys, thank you, Ms. Lyrical, for Eleanor, for Fusion Rocket, for all of you that have stopped by today. We're going to be trying to do this a little bit more often and just, when the weather's good, be outside and I'll take you all for a little tour of some of the places around this place. So, make a different point of view, maybe around the fire pit. We'll might sit and have lunch one day or just chew the breeze, come and say hi, hang out if you have the time, a little bit of a live space for you to just chill and we'll have some conversations. So, I mean, my friends around the world, which is awesome, right? Awesome. We've got people in Ukraine, we've got Japan, we've got Australia, apparently, India. However, you never really see anybody from India in a live stream because obviously the time difference is so huge, right? It's massive. Australia as well. It's early morning for us. It's late night, so for them, so kind of difficult for those guys to catch up on a live stream. We did do some kind of 12-hour live streams, but I wasn't really feeling that. It's too much, and really for what you do, you don't get that many views, so kind of a bit silly filling your channel up with that. But still kept some of the videos on, but for posterity more than anything else. Um, but I know lots of other friends that do a lot of live streams. In fact, there's this thing now where you just keep repeating the same show over and over and over again, and I don't know about that. Gets a bit repetitious when you're hearing the same material over and over again from a live stream. But there's some strategists out there that say just do it, and just keep playing 24 hours a day if you can. I don't know about that. I was just taking a look. I'm pretty sure I just saw deer out there. That's if they know I'm here, they won't come so close. I'm not seeing that. I saw movement off in the trees. No, I was wrong. I'm sure. If we do, I'll let you know, and I'll take the camera and we'll get a quick shot. But I'm probably going to be ending the stream in a bit. I've got some phone calls to take myself. I'm calling my good lady. Will be calling me on a lunch hour break, so make sure the phone's free for her. Yeah, maybe we'll just take the phone real quick off its stand there before I end the stream. Just have a quick look around so you can see more of what's going on or not. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's 1:37 p.m. here, and I will be getting that phone call in the next few minutes. So, if you're missing this, if you're on a call, DJ, I'm sorry. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the phone out of its mount here. Oh dear, I think it might have cancelled the live on me. Anyway, hopefully that's still working. Let's have a look. Hoping this is still live because when I took the phone out, it caught one of the live buttons. So it's almost like it might have started a new live stream. If you're still there, you can see me, guys. Can you just leave a hello or something, or a thumbs up in a text? Okay, maybe it's not live. I don't know. It says I am, but anyway, if we are and we haven't been cut off, I am going to end the live stream for now. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll probably try again tomorrow, assuming that the weather's going to be good enough, right? I'll just flip the screen. So we'll be doing some fires here. It's a small yard fire pit, and then out the back we have the other fire pit. You can just see it underneath the umbrella, and then there's one right up there in the woods. You can't see that, but right from here, but it's over there. So yeah, that's my old chicken coop, which I'm gonna repurpose, I think, for something. But anyway, I'm gonna say bye for now. If you're still with me, thanks for joining and for stopping by. And Worldwide Folklore Tales will be back live, hopefully tomorrow, with another impromptu live stream and a little chat. So thank you very much. We'll catch you next time. Thank you, everybody. Marina, welcome back. Thank you. I hope you have a great evening there where you're at. Okay. I have to say bye.